Hey everybody, it's Doug Schauf with Remax Oceanside of MakeMaineYourHome.com. In this week's episode of the Make Maine Your Home podcast, I'm just going to give you a market update. I'm going to talk about a few things, kind of chat about what's happened nationwide. I got some stats on what's happening mostly with inventory and interest rates nationwide. We'll also talk a little bit about local stats. I got some inventory levels that is just astounding to me and how low it is, and then I'll give you a little what I call what I have, what I need, and what I know. I haven't done that in a while, but I'll talk to you about what I have for listings, what I need for my buyers, and what I know that's coming on the market. So let's do this. All right, guys, so I am going to jump right in. I'm going to talk about some national stats. These stats are really kind of interesting to me. We've talked a lot about inventory levels, all last year on these podcasts. Whenever I did a market update, a lot of it was about inventory. Hopefully someday I'll be able to talk about something different. But there's going to be a lot of talk about inventory levels right now because it's even lower, man. It's crazy. So anyway, first thing, though, that I'm going to chat about is I got some stats here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see some info here of like a slide that I have talks about existing home prices and year over year stats. It's kind of interesting because this is, based on the U.S., total U.S., the Northeast, the Midwest, the South, and the West of the states. So it's kind of neat to see what's happening all over the country. So year over year prices have gone up in the U.S. 7.8%. That's crazy how much prices have risen. And then year over year in the Northeast, we're down a little bit from the average at 7.4. Still not a bad return, though. Midwest, man, is cranking, 9.2% increase. The South is around 6.7%. So they're below the average. And then the West is 8.1% year over year increase. So, of course, where we are in the Northeast, that's where we want to look at. 7.4% increase is amazing. Prices are still climbing. And it's all due to two things, actually. Mostly months worth of inventory. And you've heard me talk in other episodes, and I won't, go through the whole spiel about what's, what months worth of inventory is. You can look it up on previous podcasts, but a quick glimpse is, what's on the market over a certain period of time, or the sales over a certain period of time. You calculate how much sell per month. And then you look at current inventory and you divide that out and you figure out how many months would the current inventory last. And anything below like 5 or 6 months worth of inventory is a seller's market. 6 to 8 months is like a normal market. And then, anything above like, 9-10 months is a buyer's market. So anyway, over the last couple years, this is just a graph here that kind of shows you how, high and low it went. Not necessarily how many months worth of inventory exactly, but just kind of goes to show you what's happening. So if you look at the graph here over the last couple years, it rises up a little bit. Last year, it rose up a little bit between like April and July. August, it dipped a little bit. September, back up. And then October, November, and December went right back down. In December, it's way low, even lower than it was, a couple years ago in January. And I guarantee if we had the national stats for January and February, it would be even lower, which we'll see in a minute when we start talking about local stats. So that's one thing that's making prices increase. The other thing is, interest rates are staying low. The last few years, there was a lot of talk about, hey, man, they're going to go up. They're going to go up to 5%, 5.5%. Oh, my goodness, you should buy now, et cetera, et cetera. They went up a little bit. They were creeping around 5, maybe 5.25, but then they came right back down. And now they're low. I mean, I looked at a refi on my house, 30-year fixed, a 3.75, I believe I was quoted. Yeah, if you need a guy, let me know. I'll get you over to somebody. But let's see. So right now, we're talking. Oh, these are projections. So mortgage rate projections. What's going to happen here over the next year or so? And it's interesting. Now, I mean, everybody's kind of changed their tune. A lot of people are saying for the next couple of years, interest rates are going to remain low and stay low. In the threes. And And that's really what this is all saying. Second quarter of 2020, everybody's kind of saying on average of what these guys are saying at 3.7. And then in the third quarter, again, 3.75, fourth quarter, 3.77, maybe up a tiny bit. And going into the first quarter of next year, everybody's projecting 3.82. I mean, it's so close. It's like it's all going to, it means basically it's not going up for a while, which is great. It means buyer demand will stick around, which means we need more houses to sell. Inventory is the tough game right now, getting houses to sell, which is going to lead me to some local stats. The local stats I pulled was all about inventory because the last time I pulled monthly stats locally was last May of 2019. And we looked at, and at the time I was like, oh my God, this is historic lows. We really need to get more listings, that type of thing. It was really kind of a crisis then. And we were at, like, Portland was, 2 months worth of inventory. South Portland was below 2 months of inventory. Scarborough was 2.5 months. Falmouth, 2 months. Cape Elizabeth was below a month. And so was Westbrook. So, at that time, we were like, oh my goodness, inventory is super, super low. So I pulled this today, and I'm just amazed at how low it is. Okay, again, months worth of inventories. How much is current inventory we have? How long would it last? Okay, if like all inventory just totally stopped, how long would it last? So Portland, 0.68 months, so less than a month. South Portland, 0.2 months, so a quarter of a month. What's that? A week? Scarborough, 0.4, so less than a couple weeks. Falmouth, 0.6, again, a little over a couple weeks. Cape Elizabeth, 0.55, so a couple weeks. Westbrook, a couple weeks, 0.5 months. It's amazing. This is the lowest I've ever seen it. And I remember when I've pulled these in the past, I've said that before, like, oh my goodness, this is the lowest we've ever seen, which was true at the time. And it just continues to go low. Now, today I went to a business networking group, and I talked about these inventory levels when I was there, and I kind of talked about like, hey, how does this affect buyers, and then how does it affect sellers? Now it affects buyers in a big way because the buyer demand is there. They have their low interest rate. They're pre-approved. They're out looking, but you know what? There's nothing to look at. So a lot of buyers get frustrated and they, just stop looking. Hey, I'm going to stay put. I can't find anything. Okay. That's not necessarily the case though. Okay. If you let me know, or if you're already working with a broker, talk to your broker. There are ways to find you a house. If you need housing, there are ways to find you a house. Okay, when I work with buyers, if I'm working with a buyer and they know like exactly where they want to be, they're realistic about what they want, they have a budget that fits in that area. I can find you a house. I go knock on doors. I send out postcards to those areas. I make phone calls to those areas. I reach out to all other brokers to, contact them, see what's coming. There are ways to find you houses. So please don't give up. Just use your resources and we can find you something. Okay. But that's how it affects buyers. It's very, 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 very frustrating for buyers right now. I understand. I get it. It's frustrating for us too, but we deal with it and we can make it happen. So how it affects sellers is, like we talked about, the housing prices. Your prices are going up. Okay, values are on the rise. If you're considering selling, we're on the rise. It's a great time to cash out. The problem is, if you're looking to like downsize and you need to buy something, or you're upgrading and you need to buy something, that's where people start having a hard time. They look online, they don't see any inventory, so they just say, you know what, I'm just going to stay put. And you don't necessarily have to have that mindset. If you're not in your dream home, again, we can find you something. Reach out to me, reach out to your broker that you're using, preferably me, and let's talk. Again, we can find you something. If you're looking to make a lateral move just because there's something that you don't like about in your house and you want to move to a different house, we could do that. If you're upgrading, downgrading, we can find you something, and we could find you your dream home. And oftentimes, because interest rates are so low, you can make an upgrade and your payments about the same. Okay, if you're making a downgrade, it's even better. You got more cash to put down. You got all that kind of stuff, and there's some developments out there, some new construction out there that maybe is a good fit for you and could work out very well. So again, it can be frustrating when you're looking to sell and you need to buy something, but Prices are on the way up. Interest rates are low. It's a good time to make a move. So don't just sit there and think, oh, there's nothing on the market, can't find anything, and not do it. Call me. We'll talk. Okay. So anyway, I think I beat that up enough. Let's move on. Inventory. So let's talk about what I have, what I need, and what I know. I've done this a lot in the past. I haven't done it for a little while. So let's see. So what I have, I don't have a whole lot because anything that I put on the market, of course, sells very quickly. But I do have a couple that I've already contracted, and it's not necessarily on the market yet, but going to be soon. And one is over on Whitney in Portland. This is the one you might look at like old videos if you're looking on Facebook or whatnot or YouTube. This is the one. It's a great house on Whitney, but a pipe broke last year and flooded the house. Did a lot of damage, but the restoration company that went in there did an awesome job. The place is almost finished, and we're going to be hitting the market soon. Should be around 400, low fours. It's 3-bedroom, 2 baths. Let's see, kind of like a 3-story home. Nice old house, a lot of character. Great place. And don't worry about the water damage that happened. It was like tested and dried out, and there's no issues. It was done by a professional restoration company. It's a great house though. All brand new floorings, brand new trim, brand new sheetrock, new paint. The kitchen was redone. It's really spectacular. So anyway, that's coming soon. And I also have a duplex in Saco coming over on Stockman. That's going to be listed at $380. It's an awesome duplex. It's like there's a garage for each unit. They're big units. They're like kind of townhouse style. It's got a nice backyard. It backs up against some, basically just like almost farmland like. So there's nothing behind you. If you're looking for like an owner occupied where you live on one side, rent out the other, basically cover most of your mortgage, it's a great property. So that's good. That is listed, and that will be coming on like beginning of March. All right. I could almost use both of those in the what I know is coming as well. But hey, they are listed. We're just kind of waiting to go through the motions. So now what I need for buyers. I have a few buyers that haven't given up. But let's see. I have like Cape Elizabeth, Scarborough. I have maybe around like 8. They're looking for single level living. That's kind of the hard part. So up to 800,000. Let's see. I think I have a couple people looking for condos in the Portland area, Portland South. Portland, ideally in one of them would really like the high-rise buildings, maybe 2nd, 3rd floor units with an elevator, that type of thing. Let's see. I have somebody looking for a condo or a townhouse in Gorham, under like 250-ish, which I think is doable, but it's a hard market there. So if you hear of anybody, would love to talk to you. Let's see, what else do I got? Multi-units in Biddeford. Man, Biddeford is an up-and-coming town, and multi-units are a great property, and I have a couple people looking for those. So if you hear of anything in Biddeford, multi-units, would love to hear about it. Really, any 2-unit, 3-unit, 4-unit, 5-unit, whatever, I would love to hear about it. If you own one, let me know. Biddeford's a great town right now to keep your eyes on as far as investing goes. Okay, so what I know is coming in. Let's see. I have a couple options actually in Cape Elizabeth. Something in like around 4-ish over near my neighborhood. I have a couple options coming up in what they call Elizabeth Park over near the school. Let's see. I have something in Scarborough over near the marsh. Beautiful house. I can't wait to list this one because it's going to be just a spectacular house. Great views. Wonderful place. Let's see. I have 1 or 2 leads going on in Broad Cove, of something coming on over there in Cape Elizabeth. I've heard of something, 1 or 2 going on in Oakhurst in Cape Elizabeth. Let's see. South Portland. I've heard of something coming on like further down Highland, like over in that area. So let's see. There's probably a whole lot of that I've heard of. It seems like all winter long I've heard about a lot of people that are like considering, I'm going to be listed next year, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, if you are thinking about listing right now, it's great because inventory levels are just so low. So anyway, okay, that's it. What I have, what I need, and what I know. hopefully this helps. This gives you. I'm gonna consider all of you updated. So anyway, if you have any questions, comment below. Send me an email. Give me a call. Send me a text. Fly a pigeon to me. Whatever you want. And hopefully this helps. And hopefully we'll see y'all soon. And remember, if you're gonna make Maine your home, you don't have to do it alone.